How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about ChargePoint. I know it's been a while since I've spoken about it. According to YouTube, it's been like 10 days. I've been getting those messages saying, Dre, have you seen the pullback? What is going on? Why isn't ChargePoint going up? So I'm like, you know what? It's time I made a video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for ChargePoint. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $12.50, being down 3.40%. On the low, it tested $12.25, and then on the high, testing $13.14. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 8.49 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 10.349 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we also did witness a lot of weakness in tech stocks. So now when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below it's at 21.74. So it is deep in that oversold territory. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So what this shows us right away, ChargePoint has been in a bear market, and it's been this way even when I did my previous video. But if you are in ChargePoint for the long term here, this dip does provide opportunities. Will this dip actually continue? Hey, I see it. If ChargePoint goes below $10, I would not be shocked, and I would start considering to add more to my position. But aside from that, if you want to see ChargePoint recover and show some strength again, it's going to have to come back here to right around this $15 area. And one thing you have to understand about this $15 area, this is going to be a psychological area just as much as 14 is. Well, we know if we can make that move to $15, we can gain that momentum and reclaim this 21-day EMA at $15.95. Keep in mind, according to TradingView, they have earnings on March the 12th. So this is why I was saying there could be a lot more downside, and we know as far as for interest rates, they are going to be getting hiked up in March. So this is why I'm saying for ChargePoint to turn things around, it'd have to do this before that interest rate hike that we get in March, and I'd want to see a move going to 15 bucks. But for the most part, things do look bearish, and that is something that we can't be naive of. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for ChargePoint. So green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at recent filings, I know it's been a minute since we did an update on ChargePoint. We can see for January the 25th, we have Neuberger Berman U.S. Equity Impact Fund institutional class that purchased 1,533 shares. And then we also have Signiford LLC with a filing of 400 shares. We also have First Command Financial Services that purchased 1,000. And then for the 24th, we have Christopher Wheel and Company Core Investment Fund that purchased 3,600 shares. We also have the National Bank of Canada that purchased just over 185,000 shares. We also have Elevest Inc. that purchased 20 shares. We also have Avantis U.S. Equity Fund Institutional Class that purchased 1,194 shares. Again, we can see institutions have been loading up on ChargePoint as of late, which is according to these recent filings. And then when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 39.43%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 2.54 million shares. shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 6.3 million, updated 24 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 0.45%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 21st, it was at 53.02. So that was last week, Friday. And then for the close yesterday, being the 24th, it was at 39.43. So that is a significant decrease right there. But one thing that is very clear, ChargePoint does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for ChargePoint. We see here on the inflow it's at 11.67, and then on the outflow it's at 12.22. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it is 0, on the medium it is 6.69, and then on the small it is 4.98. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 7.91, and then on the small it is 4.31. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for January 25th, which is today, we ended up having 0. But the day before, we ended up having an outflow of 636,000, just over that. But we did have an inflow day on January the 20th, which we had 656,000. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And of course, for the large, we had 0, which tends to represent whales, institutions, and funds. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it is at 2.57%. So this is not too bad for a stock like ChargePoint. One thing that we're clearly seeing, there is demand in the market for shares. Many people are buying up the dip. And we also do see there's a lot of selling pressure, no surprise, due to the weakness that we're also seeing in the tech sector, and as well as for other EV plays. So now let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for ChargePoint, let's talk about the price action. As of late, we've seen it get down to lows of $11.21. We see that it's touching in the $12 area, and most recently seeing a high going into the $13 area. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm actually looking for ChargePoint to fall below $10. And I know what you're saying. If you are bullish on the stock, and if you believe in the long-term prospects, why are you looking for the stock to go down? Well, I'm looking for the stock to go down because I see it as an opportunity to load up on some shares. Like I was saying in all of my videos for ChargePoint, I continue to have high conviction, and I'm down to hold this play for at least 5 years. And I know that the stock price will turn around. If you don't have the same sentiment, of course, this is not financial advice, then you shouldn't have been investing in ChargePoint in the first place. It was the wrong pick for you. We know as far as profitability is concerned, ChargePoint hasn't gotten there as of yet. And considering the environment that we are in for 2022, knowing that we're going to be having interest rate increases and concerns around inflation, of course these stocks are going to pull back. They are growth stocks at the end of the day. They're going to be having those ups and downs. The moment that ChargePoint can prove itself to be profitable, that's where I'm going to be looking for the price of the stock to turn around. And I also do believe in the potential of the EV sector years from now. So again, if you don't share these sentiments, don't be inside of the stock. You shouldn't be panicking. You shouldn't be nervous. You shouldn't be frustrated. I do understand the market conditions haven't been the greatest. You're seeing these stocks pull back. You're used to the runs that we were seeing in 2020 and as well as 2021. You'd buy a stock and it would run up the day after. Again, this is a different environment. The only stocks that you should be holding in your portfolio are the ones that you have high conviction in, and you know that the company is actually solid, right? They're doing what they need to do to grow and as well return value back to their shareholders. And if that is the case, this is why you shouldn't mind adding on dips. Now, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. And we also do see institutions have been loading up on shares. Remember, it was only last year there were institutions in regards to direct offerings on ChargePoint that were paying $20 plus a share. So this is why I'm saying institutions are willing to wait on their positions. So as retail investors, we have to be willing to wait as well. If you're looking for instant gratification, then you should be a trader. You should be looking for plays that move in price quickly. We talk about some of those on the channel. We also do this inside of the Discord, but I just want to make sure if you have a certain personality type and you don't want to wait things out when it comes to certain investments, then you shouldn't push yourself in that realm. Or what you can do is wait for the volatility to subside inside of the market and then look for some plays that seem attractive to you, especially the ones that you're actually interested in, that might be in your area of expertise. This will help you out a lot more, give you some more high conviction, and you're more likely to actually stick with the play even if it does decide to dip. I just want to make sure I communicate this because whatever stocks that you're going to be buying inside of the market and adding into your portfolio, I just want to make sure you're growing your money over time and you're seeing success. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.